What do you do when you get into a rut? And when I mean a rut, I mean something that is just really hard to change. So this is a definition. It says is a habit or pattern of behavior that has become dull, unproductive, but is hard to change. So, what happens when you're in one of these patterns that is unproductive and hard to change? And this can be something such as, you're not motivated to do what you're doing, you're disempowered, you feel like you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and like it's boring. You just could also just be in a negative mindset. So, what do you do when you get into a rut? Get over it. No, honestly, I know you're going to be like, this lady is crazy. And from all my self-development, from all my years of working with businesses, it really is get over it. And what I mean by that, and I mean, I really just want to say like video done, cut out, peace. That I know I can't just leave you with that, because if you're in a rut, just get over it does not help. How do you get over it? So one, it could be something that you're beating yourself up about. So if you find that there's negative thoughts going through your head, or you find that you just like you're saying kind of like, that's a feeling. Like, I don't know how to, you know what that feeling is. We've all felt that feeling. The space is to get out of that emotion. So if you're in an emotion that's not serving you, it's doing something that gets you into an emotion that serves you. So that can be something that brings you happiness, joy, excitement. I've had clients who are in such a rut that I've been like, you know what, you're taking the day off. And they're like, I can't. Like, I can't. I'm like, no. Like, if you love golfing, you haven't gone golfing, go golfing. Like, if you need to go and find a beach someplace, go find a beach. Like, sometimes if you're in such a space of a negative emotion, you have to flip yourself. Now, our life is a wheel, and we have all these areas. And one side can be in integrity, one cannot. That's another video for another day. And if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to do that one. But what happens is when work takes off, sometimes other areas kind of gets pulled in a little bit and they're not as thriving. But who you are is who you are. I'm really good at being like my home self, my mom self, my business self, all that stuff. And it's still like who I am. And so if I'm feeling one way in one area of my life, it's going to transfer to the other ones. So if you can flip your emotion in one space, you'll find that it will start flipping that feeling in other spaces. And you'll start seeing pathways and opportunities that you've not seen before. So that's one way to kind of get out of the rut, is to just flip your attitude, your emotion, how you're feeling any way possible. Another way to get out of rut is just to take action, to do something that you have been putting off or that you haven't wanted to do. Wait, that's the same as putting off. It's taking that action, jumped in yourself. So a lot of times I think of it as a shock to your system. And that's what I do a lot for myself. So if I'm in a rut, I'm kind of like, I don't feel like doing this, or I'm beating myself. I beat myself up a lot. I'm beating myself up because I didn't do A, B, C, D. A lot of times I just jolt myself into action. And I'm like, okay, what are those things that have my pattern? And I have found for me, a pattern is really helpful. And if you're interested in me doing a video about finding your pattern and being energized by your pattern, let me know and I'll do that. But I definitely have like a start process. It's kind of like a thing that I have trained myself. If I do A, B, C, D, it equals E, So it's one of these things that I know I can kind of like jumpstart by doing these few things in the morning, to kind of, and then my system kind of just like naturally falls in because it's a habit and a pattern. I also have certain activities that I know jumpstart me. So one of them is these videos. It just really is that if I can put myself in the space of providing value or helping, like I can get in that space. If I get in my consulting space, like I can be in the most horrible day and I jump on a consulting call and I am just like, it's magical, and that's because it's what I'm really good at and it's what I love. It jump starts. It's like that little jump start to an engine, kind of thing. So you can do that as well. Another way is some people have to kind of calm for a second and really come from a more mental piece. And this can be your commitments. So a commitment is something that you say, I am committed to this. And we all have them. And if you have not written them down, I really would write down the commitments that you have in every area of your life. There's a really cool exercise I kind of have on that. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments and I can do a video on that. The commitments are really saying, like, I'm committed to having this in my business and this for my clients and this for my family and this for myself and this for my marriage and this for my friendships. Like, what is that thing that, like, you are fighting for? What is the thing that you are working for? What is the thing that you really want? And these can be a little bit of a physical thing, like, I want to do this to my house, or I want to buy that car. I can't. But a lot of it is an emotional thing. I'm committed that my family feels loved. And then it's, what do I do that lead to that commitment? So what are the actions I take that have that commitment show up in my life? And really getting pulled in and saying, like, this is what I'm committed to. And then these are the actions I have to do to get that commitment. What I found is, for some individuals, that really starts getting them like, oh yeah, and it kind of gets that they need a slower ramp up than like the quick engine start. And those are only 3. You are individual. And so finding what it is that's really going to jumpstart you is going to help. The last one that I want to touch on is, some people have to kind of really be brutally honest with themselves and say, what am I doing right now? I've had a few clients that are magical, like masterful at taking what they're doing and sabotaging it. Like, every single time they're about to succeed, they sabotage it. There's something called shadow self, shadow work, that comes out, our limiting beliefs kind of come out, but it's just like, so sometimes I found that like, kind of pulling back, that kind of rut can be actually self-made for some individuals. And I found it's only a small percentage, but that's something too for you to look at. If you're like, man, am I about to really explode? And I have seen that with a lot of my clients. Like, right when they're about to explode, this like little rut happens, and it's kind of like your subconscious is like, whoa, danger. Like, you're about really do something big and you might get hurt. It's a little, you're like, are you sure? Like, this is new. Our subconscious really likes us kind of stay in this gray zone. It likes us play in the safe zone. So when we do something that's going to like launch us out of that safe zone, how we've stayed alive, through historic history, is it kind of says, whoa, brakes, something new, not quite sure. I think of the movie Inside Out. And for those who don't know, I have 4 little kids. So, I'm all into like little kid movies. But Inside Out, if you have not watched it, you should watch it as an adult, because I love the like little voices in head, because we do that too. We have these different pieces of us that talk. And sometimes I don't know which one is like leading the panel at the time. If you don't get that, you have to watch the movie. But I sometimes don't know which of those selves is leading the panel. So sometimes it's really like taking a step back and being like, am I what's going, like, am I about really to explode? And this is a way of protecting, because I have seen that. So Ray, point being, because I could talk about this all day, is that if you find yourself in a rut, the biggest thing is really taking action. Any action that's going to move you forward, not a self-sabotaging action, anything like that. More of a, energy out action. Maybe some people need to go work out or go running, something that brings you joy and happiness, something that makes you feel good, something that moves things forward, something that lives to your commitments, whatever it is for you. Now, when you find it, what's really cool about this is you can tap into it at any time. So once you find what that is, what gets you going, what gets you out of that rut, once you find that, you can master it. And then it's this magical thing that you can be in a situation, and then it's like pushing a button. It's like if I went boop and it's just like you shock into action. And it does take time, and it does take practice. And I will tell you, it goes from this long to shorter time to shorter time to shorter time, to where you can really just be in action on what you want in life and what you want for your business. And that's one of the things when you listen to thought leaders and all this stuff that I really think makes a humongous difference. And what sets them apart is that they're they have found that for themselves. They have found those pieces. And you hear people speaking motivation and this and that. And they're really, if you listen, they're sharing from experience and saying, do this. I'm saying, find what works for you. And if you're someone who has watched my videos, or if you're new watching my videos, I'm all about figuring out what works for you, what works for your business, and how you can succeed in every area of your life.